Hi everyone,
Hey,
this
guys.
is In the Middle with Kes and Jamie.
How are you doing?
Oh, I think we're doing great, aren't we? I think what we want to ask everyone is to subscribe.
Yes.
It's somewhere down below here. Please subscribe, write your
And hit like.
comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit like, that would be nice for us. I mean, listen, we're just trying our best.
And if our producer's going to beat us, so we not do it. So, here we go.
Here we go. Subscribe, please.
Yeah.
Make your comments. We'll respond. And we'd love to hear your suggestions and thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. So today, what are we doing? What are we talking about?
Well, let's talk real quickly about what we did last weekend. We just went to the mountains.
Yes, we did indeed. It was
families.
lovely.
Yeah.
Very isolated.
Very isolated.
I mean, as COVID...
Socially distanced.
Yes, COVID policy allows us. We were very, very, very careful, and that was lovely. We had a great walk. We had a couple of drives, and you guys hopefully will see it at some point.
Yeah, we recorded some stuff for you, so you'll get to see that. So stay tuned and be looking on the lookout for that in the next few days. But we had a really good time, and I hope we can talk about some things that you'll find interesting about the area and about some of the other topics we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. No, it was lovely. It was lovely to get away from the city a little bit. The weather was fantastic, and overall, it was very pleasant for the mind too.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys have a chance to do that. Even if it's just for a day to get out.
And you don't have to go far. You don't have
Change
to do
the
a lot.
scenery.
Yeah, we just rented a cabin up in the mountains, in Shenandoah Mountains, outside of DC and Virginia. And I think a lot of people are doing that because a lot of people are fearful about traveling very far,
careful,
or they're fearful of flying. And this is a good way for you to get away, get out of wherever you are, have a little break with your family or by yourself even. Just to get away from them, being away you've had enough family. So, it's a good way to look at it. So it's been actually, while the travel industry's really had a lot of hits, this has been a big boom for Airbnb and
I think it's been good for the local business, for
it has.
because I think from what I've known, a lot of my friends that have kids and family, and obviously school is virtual, they've been trying to get out. And just go somewhere so that the kids have the ability to, run around free. And a lot of the people went, to the south, to Florida, just to be able to, see the ocean, be by the water, the beaches, and
anything different.
Anything different. And obviously, when you're locked in smaller confined places, you want to get out.
Anyway,
Yes.
so going on to our first topic today.
Oh God, what an interesting topic. And actually this was interesting because what happened was, while we were on this weekend, there was another appointee coming from Biden, and I believe it was the defense secretary, and who is the first black man. Now, did you hear what I said? So defense secretary, the first black man. When I read that, I turned to Jamie and I said, it seems to me like as if all the appointees come with some kind of a bonus track, if you wish. And that bonus track is being promoted first rather than them being them as a professionals.
This guy has an entire career in the military and defense, and he's a multi-star general. I mean, there are many more qualifications that this guy has other than the fact that he's black. So why are you bringing that up?
Which we respect.
But
this is the whole point.
The first things that you talk about should be why this person is a great qualification. Oh, it happens to be that he happens to be black. Happens to be, and I don't give a crap if you're from Mars or you're purple. I don't care what you are. I just want you to be good at your job. And so,
and I think that's really the key.
Yeah, and I'm sure that I have a feeling that that President Biden is selecting good people. I mean, he has a good crop of people to select from versus Trump didn't have that many people that wanted to go into his administration that were high quality, in my opinion, and also a lot of other people's opinion. And so there was a lax in the or lacking in qualified candidates in that administration. So there's a lot of qualified candidates, but it just seems like there's pandering.
Well, and that's the whole thing. I think that this is what I've literally felt all through the new nominations. Every single nomination or every other nomination came with this I call it a bonus. It could be called something different.
I like that. It's a good way of putting it. It's like, and the bonus.
And the bonus, by the way, right?
The bonus is what? She's a woman. Oh, she is a woman. I was like,
and she's Latino. Oh my God. Or, this person is first transgender.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's amazing. But really, as leaders of the country, right?
And
the senior management of the country, you would want them to be, this is the so-and-so, great qualifications, had experience in this area, has done that, has been working on reforms for transport or health or social, whatever it is. But that has to come first, and that has to be promoted first. And even the evidence show later on, the media has stopped doing that, putting the first black, first woman, first gay, and they've started sort of pointing out that they have qualifications. And The Economist actually stated that Biden's choices are more proficient to a certain degree than Trump's, or even other previous presidents.
Well, there were some candidates that he picked up there. Even the Republicans sent them backpacking. They rejected themselves. The Republican leadership in the Senate, when they were going to confirmation, they were saying, get this judge nominee or some of the other people. It's like, no. And so that was from the Republicans. And so the quality has been spotchy in the last few years. And I think that for the most part, whenever you have an administration coming in and they're appointing people, 99% of the time, the people are going to be very well qualified. Occasionally you have someone that may not be as qualified as others. But, the thing that I find offensive about a lot of this is with Pete Buttigieg being the first gay Secretary of Transportation, the first cabinet member, official, full-on cabinet member in the administration. I find that kind of offensive. Like, okay, because he has an outstanding resume.
Yeah.
Not only was he was a mayor of a small town and he ran for president. That's fine, but he was a military officer. He went to Harvard. He was a Rhodes Scholar. I mean, he has an incredible amount of experience.
So
his CV is a standalone thing, but they're focusing on the gay thing. I'm like, it's almost like we're tokens. I don't want to be a token. I don't want anybody to be a token. And if I find it offensive for my group, why wouldn't they find it offensive for blacks or women or transgender, anybody else? I mean,
but do you think he's doing it because he wants the minorities of these groups to sort of like them and say, look, he is the president who actually said he's going to do something for us, and then bang, he's doing it straight on the first.
I'll tell you, Cass, I mean, having worked in Democratic politics most of my life, and as I've said on here before, I'm a registered Republican now, and a lot of it is because of the hypocrisy of the party. And and there's no real room for anybody that's in the middle. You've got to be something crazy left for them. And they pander to all these groups. You had to be blind, black, lesbian, nun with one arm for peace. I mean, and those were the groups they were supporting, and they didn't. They lost everybody else, and they didn't look like America. They looked like a rainbow coalition of a Noah's Ark group of organizational skills. I mean, it was just not. It is not the way that we want to run a government, and not the way that people should be selected.
Right.
So,
Jamie, do you think? Because I remember when I asked you this question, right? The original question of, does it seem like as if he's doing it to please? You said to me, yes. I remember you clearly said to me that, yes, it does seem like it. It does sound like it. It does look like it. Well, but do you think that could backfire at him at some point?
But quite honestly, those people were watching. You could see when there was coming out. When he first came out, he came out with maybe one or two more white people than
you mean
anybody.
Joe Biden?
Yeah, Joe Biden. When he was first announcing right after the election, was announcing his cabinet and the nominees. Those groups were all just like, jumping. I was like, well, yeah, but what about ours? And what about the math? And they were just like in this feeding frenzy of, well, where's my person? I mean, come on. I mean, this is, who? I think it becomes almost a degree of reverse racism or sexism or xenophobia or homophobia in a straight phobia kind of way, because it's like, oh, how dare you appoint that straight white man? Oh, how dare you appoint that Latino woman or that Latino man? What Latin man? Why didn't you put a Latino woman in it? I'm like, okay, you cannot create a government based on, the Rainbow Coalition. You just can't. It's not feasible. I think that having diversity is great, but no matter
it's a must.
It is a must, but it shouldn't be the number one criteria of what you're selecting, because all you're doing is quotas. Well, and I don't like quotas.
And I'm going to go back to the fact that I think he was doing it to please certain groups straight away without having, making them happy, and then, we're seeing how that will turn out for him later on, because he can already say, listen, but I've already given you something. Well, hold on, let me get into what's happening next.
But also at the same time, I mean, he just did a speech 1 week ago. 1 week ago,
what was
talk about unity.
Oh, that's the word. Yes, that's the word. Who's he unifying? I think
he's unifying his party. He's unifying the left groups around him. He's not reaching out to those people that did not vote for him. He's not reaching out for the people in the middle.
That could be a problem, right?
It is going to be a problem for him. Let me tell you, this is going to be a big problem for him, because he's not creating an atmosphere of, I want to work with you. It's just like, we're going back to the same thing again. We're all getting back in our own damn corners again. So anyway, we need to run on. But we would love to hear your comments on this, and please put them down here below and send them to us, and we'll write back, and we'll even discuss that, or even broaden this more if you want. So
absolutely.
Anyway, so going on to our next topic.
Next topic.
These executive orders, and we'll go over this real fast, but he's done 33 in the first 6 minutes.
It sort of
it flows
right into that. Yeah. It's like it was a competition. Can I do more than Trump did?
Well, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to undo everything he's done.
It's like cancel culture. Cancel Trump. Cancel. That's a
really good point.
Yeah.
Cancel. I'm redoing everything, and I don't like this, because then you've got a government, because the same people that were bitching about Trump are now, and they're not saying anything about Biden doing the same thing. They're coming in with all these executive orders, and you're sidetracking and circumnavigating the real legislative process, which is Congress needs to put in laws and rules, and then the president signs them or not, or vetoes them, and then we go through the process. We go through standard orders, and I just think that it's ridiculous.
But see, for me, I think that the bigger issue for me, or at least the way I see it, and again, you guys know I'm an outsider, an alien, as you know.
No.
No longer? Word. Well, hold on, not yet, because they haven't come up with a new word.
Just so you know, that
one of the things
is that he's trying to get rid of. You can't use the word alien when referring to someone who is a foreigner in our paperwork, in our documents in the government. I mean,
I've always
seriously, that's the number. We got pandemic going on.
Yes,
we've got people losing their jobs and everything else, and you're doing this.
You're talking about alien, yeah. Wow. Well, again, as an alien, I don't really have a dog in a fight, but what I can say and see that it seems to me that when you come into power, and I'll probably sort of sidetrack into business, as it's more familiar ground for me, but you come in and you have to really see what is going on, what has been said, what's been working, has been working, because a lot of issues have been happening. So when you do those changes, the big massive changes, in reality, what you need to make sure that you do them for is that you have a plan of action.
Right.
There's always be a chain reaction. The chain reaction means that has the receiving side, the side that's actually going to administer it, the side is actually going to process the whole order. Is that ready? Is that thing in place?
Thinking it through and how this is going to impact people. Here's the example that you found about the Keystone pipeline.
Right.
Which they canceled
4,000 people
had to be. This is just one contractor had to fire 4,000 people all of a sudden. I mean, are you not thinking this through? I mean, and also, we're not going to be...
Or if you are, then what you should do and say, guys, don't worry. This is happening. I know that there will be some job losses, but I have this in place and this will change it and you will have a job or you'll be able to get a job.
Right.
Because right now, the
something
way it looks,
to replace,
you can't it's like with bad habits, as far as I know, and I've read so much literature on it, in order to implement a new habit, in order to get rid of the old habit, you need to make sure that you can replace it with something else.
Right.
So you need to take an old habit out,
right.
put a new one in, and that will stay, hopefully. But the same thing here, you have to get rid of something. Okay, but what are you going to put in place to make sure that this works, that this functions, that you're actually thinking about the people at the end of the day? I know in a bigger picture, it does look like he's looking after the people. But as in action, as in processes, as in now, the time is now. Maybe in 2 years it will work.
Yeah,
but
but
what happens
there's no
now?
explanation. There's no explanation to people, and all the people. This is where the Democrats screw up every time.
But we have
And
the
both parties
pandemic.
screw
They
up.
already lost jobs.
I know exactly, and you're scaring people even more. You're fulfilling all the fears that people had about you coming into office, and all of a sudden you are fulfilling their worst nightmares. And can you not take a breath and take a beat for a minute and just kind of let's ease through this? And if I were coming into office and if I were advising the president, what I would suggest is that you need to get on a listening tour around the country and talk to business leaders and go. Well, right now during the pandemic, that's not really feasible. So but you can do it
Zoom
electronically.
for crying out.
Exactly,
Come
you
on.
can do it electronically, so you can still do these things. But they're not even wanting to take time to.
It just seems like they're rushing through it.
Yeah, I mean,
and
if
I
you're
think
rushing,
there is
they think,
no reason to rush through.
No.
Getting back onto the World Health Organization. Is that has that needed to be one of the first?
I was but that would have been something. So, see, I think those were easy. Not going to really bother us too much.
Yeah, but it's like,
because those are actions. You're doing something. You've made some kind of action. But you're not canceling something that's going to get rid of 4,000 jobs.
That's true.
So
that is true.
So just doing kind of these gesture movements and let
still,
people know where your attitude is. But let's think this through and let's be conservative and moderate about this.
Let's go step by step. Listen, you're untangling issues that involve a lot of people and will affect a lot of people.
Right.
So at the end of the day, if you want them to go as well as you anticipate, or at least you're wishing for them to go through, then at the end of the day, it really has to be something that you've thought through, you've prepared, your team, your cabinet, your ministers, then all the administrations further down the line, all the states are all prepared for this. So instead of having to cross the board and go, do you know what, the forms are not yet ready, or this is not quite yet ready, so we don't quite know, yes, this has been done, but this order has been signed. We're not ready for it yet.
Well,
why don't you sign an order when you're ready for it?
Any leadership organization, any leadership class, or anything else like that. Or actually, having worked in politics, this is what we did. You go around, you massage, and you work with the local leaders. And when I was working with the Governor McWhorter in Tennessee, you go around the state, you massage, you sell the issue to the people, you get buy-in.
Right.
But so when you have buy-in, you've got consensus, and when you have consensus, you have a mandate, and when you have a mandate, you have leadership. So you just but they're trying to bypass a lot of that, and it is pissing people off, and that's why we're in the middle of this damn pendulum swing
again.
And here we go. And so it is like, oh my God, can we not learn some damn lessons? And I was really hoping that Biden, being a moderate, and someone that's been around the block would have been a little bit more tempered with his decisions and movement of this so quickly. 33 in 6 days. I mean, and they're pretty massive. I mean, it is a bit much.
But hopefully he will stop. I think this was, as, in a sense of, if it was done for a show, if it was done to please certain groups of people, then he's done with that. And then now he's just gonna, slow down, settle, and start working. Yeah. I don't want to say properly, but in a sense that, analyzing.
Get a routine.
Yes, get a routine, analyze, process, get reports, get all of the teams of people that came into place. Because listen, those people haven't officially started, right? They need to be approved by the Senate. So, or is that not right?
Yeah, that's right.
So at the end of the day, they haven't even gotten their full approval to start.
No, he doesn't have a full cabinet yet. No.
So in order for anything to function properly, you need to have people, heads of the departments, heads of everything, in order for it to then go down smoothly and work out properly. Everything that's not working.
We saw how things don't function properly when you don't have leadership in a permanent position. Yeah. Because the Trump administration had all these acting people and everything else. Everything was in disarray constantly because there was no true sense of leadership or some kind of permanency with the leadership. And it is it's a mistake. It's a huge mistake, and they're not building bridges across, this gulf that we have between us politically. So, Mr. Biden, President Biden, I highly suggest that you try to slow this and temper some of this, and don't buy into the groups that are pulling you in every direction.
And it's not like you can't, further down the line, you can't satisfy their needs. I don't think that they voted for you thinking that you're going to do it on the first day. I do think that those people have the understanding that world was not built in a day, so it takes time to change things.
Yeah, but here's the thing: we've become so addicted to the sound bit, quick, fast. The instant gratification. We're addicted to now. I'm like, Jesus, dude, come on! You got to slow this stuff down, because when you, like we were talking about earlier, Cass, when you do stuff rush or you do stuff fast, you usually screw it up in some kind of way. So you need to stop.
At least that's my experience, and I think a lot of people's experience too.
It's just a fact. I mean, I totally, I don't. It's a bona fide fact, and the Democrats, if they keep going like this, and I hope that they will slow some of this down, but they're going to pay the price for it at the political polls. Just mark my word. They screw it up every time. People don't want your socialist shit. They don't want that. Would you stop doing it? Anyway, so let's move. Give us your comments. Give us your comments. We want to hear about it. So.
I want to end this show on what I found, and it's hilarious because it ended up being well. It ended up well.
It
could have ended up worse.
It could have been
It could have been worse, and it could have really been bad. But the story goes, there was a lady, and she went to the supermarket, comes out, and her car's missing, and then her car appears with
what was in the car?
Hold on, and her car appears with the thief, and he pulls up, opens the door, comes out, and starts yelling at her because she left her four-year-old, I think it was, son in the car. So there was a child in the car while the thief took it, drove out, realized there was a child in the car, returned the car. Back. He returned to the place of the crime, gave back the child.
You're a bad mother.
Yes, and it was telling the mother off that she's an awful mother because she left the child in the car while she's gone shopping.
Yeah.
Now, there are two versions of how this story ended at this time while we're filming. I was not able to find one conclusive one, so I will ask you for help if you can help out and let me know if you guys know how the story ended. From what I know, there are two versions. One version is that he gave her the scolding, told her what an awful mother she is, gave her the kid back, and then drove off with the car.
I love that one. That's my choice.
And the other one was that he actually left the child, left the car, and left himself.
And left her told off.
And left her told off. Now, the reason I'm laughing, and obviously I hope you understand that the humor in this is that the child's okay and everything turned out fine for the child, but the fact that he drove off. Now imagine how quiet the child must have been for him to drive off for a bit, and then I don't know what happened. What was that child doing? Was it screaming? Was he not? I don't know.
But at least you had a car thief with a moral sense of I may be a thief, but I'm not a child kidnapper.
Right.
And I'm a better parent than you are.
Right.
So, I mean, it's pretty bad when some mother would say, well, how dare you say something, because people are so sensitive about, somebody.
Parenting. Don't tell me how to parent my child.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'll tell you exactly what I think. And then I'm the one with the car, bitch, bye. And so it's like.
I found this story so funny.
I think it's hilarious.
Well, again, because it ended well.
It ended well. It could have been a horrible story, but
that would have been. I don't think we would have been discussing it then, but because it would have been just but a horror story. But to be honest, I think it's amazing how the thief has more moral standard and high moral standard than the mother who left the child.
It's like the car thief is giving you the moral lessons, like the child to us, but we all make mistakes and we all do things as parents.
And again, we don't know the story of the mother, so in this respect, we can't really. I don't know what happened. Maybe she was just running out for a second. Maybe she forgot her purse and she was returning. We don't know that, and I think that's really sort of not really the point of the story here. But the fact that the guy came back, returned the car, I just want to know, did he take the car or did he leave the car? This is what I really, really want to know, and hopefully we'll find out at some point.
It makes for a better story. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please like us, and be sure to give us your comments and anything that you're interested in, because we really do want to talk about the things that you want to talk about, not just the things that we want to talk about. So, thank you so much for watching this week, and we will see you next week.
Yay, bye guys.
Bye guys.